Hello, hello everyone. How are we doing? Hi, Scott. Can we lurking for a bit? That's alright, dude. Always happy to have you. We may be having a guest over soon. See if they're popping by. Let me have a look-see. Let me see. I hope you've all been well, by the way. Oh, hello. Hello. Speak of the little kids today, and they shall appear. How do you like the new little screen? Well, let me make sure you are turned up. Where are we? There we go. Hopefully that should be loud enough now. Yes, I've been working on this today. Let me know if the background music is too loud as well, and I'll turn that down. Okay. Well, it's showing it's playing. I'm just not sure if it's... No. There's always something. Monitor and output. And then... I mean, that looks good. What about the global setting? Enable Twitch broadcast, new. Audio monitoring device. That's one. Two. I hope the music is playing. Trying to refill your energy, Scott. That's good.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. It's just not overpowering.
Okay, so I don't need to turn it up, no? Okay, I was making sure it's for ambience sake.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
Awesome. There might be some like intensity. Do you like the hands for the jar?
I do.
Yes. That's imagine. I hope the others come to see. I always like to see new faces. Even Tricky. Be nice to see if Tricky comes to listen to a nice story. Do you like how shady the model is from Lulu? He made my model all shady and ominous. I was trying to find a nice picture to go in the middle of those trees in the distance, but I couldn't find one I liked.
Yeah, no, it's hard to find stuff like that. Do like it.
I hope everyone can hear you okay as well. Should be able to. Scott's usually the one who lets us know how things sound because he's always here. But yes, I'm super happy. This is what I've spent my day working on, making a lovely, ominous place for story time today. But first, because Kid is here, we get to ask some of our favorite questions of Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
Because that's always fun. But I hope to find lots of cool, like, Would You Rathers and other things I can play with some of my guests. Before, like, I set up a proper schedule for talk shows and stuff. Which I can't wait. Kitty seems a bit low, but that could be partially because of the fact that I'm playing a game. Let me see if I turn her up on the Discord.
Maybe turn the music down a little bit now that it's going. It is a little bit.
Yeah, let me turn it down. Oh. Hopefully that is better. Is that better?
Yeah, it should be better.
Okay. I'm always getting levels, like, mixed up. Like, sometimes you'll have, like, softer music and then you just have the intensity. I was scouring through a lot of copyright-free tunes today to make a very haunted ambient place, because it fits, to be honest. And I don't think I'll get rid of the play track either, because I like it. And it doesn't have any, like, lyrics in it, so I'm not going to be, like, singing along. But yes, I hope that sounds better. Hello, hello, Anime Lover 69. Hey, yo, bestie, you finally did catch a stream. How are you? How are we doing? Let me give you a lovely shout out because you're a special being. There we go. They're playing no game, but still go and give them some lots of love. Because we support everybody here. You're good, good. Yes. Welcome to the lovely, of course you get a shout out, of course. Everybody gets shout outs here. Gotta love my supporters. That's okay. You gotta get a name for yourself. But, you know, anytime also, if you get yourself a PNG model, you're more than welcome to be a guest with Kit. Your pronouns are they, them. Alright, thank you very much, Scott. Thank you for letting me know. Don't ever be afraid to let me know what your pronouns are, and I will definitely make it a point to remember them. If I do forget, please remind me. But I'm not about that. For the most part, I will use correct pronouns. She, they. Awesome, awesome. That's great. But yes, we get to ask Kit some and chat now some favourite questions of Would You Rather. So chat, you are able to participate in these.
Alright, let me just
get yourself ready. But sometimes if we have guests, we get to play some Would You Rather questions, and chat can also take part. And then when Kit, my darling, has to go to work, we will do some creepypastas, because it's fitting of my haunted forest and creepy thingies. So, Kit and chat, would you rather have Billie Eilish's future or Madonna's legacy?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Madonna's
legacy is pretty astronomical, but Billie has a lot of potential.
Madonna's also like done so much for like adoption and children as well.
Yeah, she's done a lot.
Yeah, I could see that. Billie Eilish's future seems good. I hope my levels aren't too loud. Should be okay.
No, you sound alright.
Awesome, awesome. I've also made my tea.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna say Billie's future.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Madonna, she's done so much, but also, like, she is sort of past her prime now. Mm-hmm. And I remember even when she adopted all those children, she got such backlash and, like, hate for it. Like...
Which I will never understand. She did something good for a lot of kids that wouldn't have had a...
She's given them such a nice home and a loving family. Yeah. And... you know, it's the same as, like, Angelina Jolie. Like, she adopted as well, but, like, when she did it, she wasn't looked down upon as much. You know?
Yeah.
Alright, alright. So, would you rather have a third nipple or an extra toe? I'm going nipple, man. I don't like dealing with feet as it is, so an extra toe would just be an inconvenience. Oh no. Nipple, yep. I will allow it based on the question. I will allow that. That's fine.
I don't like feet either. So
no, no. Like if it's got a sock on it, I'm fine. But it's like, no, keep your...
You gotta take that sock off to wash your toe beans.
Yeah. It's one of those, like... The only time the socks come off is like bedtime and shower time. You know, maybe if it's like super, super warm and you gotta wear flip-flops or sandals. Extra toe. Oh, Scott's going for the extra toe. Because your feet are weird enough. Oh, okay, okay. It depends. But yeah, Scott's gonna go with it. Scott's going with the toe. I'd go for like the third nip because, you know, extra pleasure, you know, happy days. Would you rather?
Just imagine if the third nipple was the only one you pierced.
Oh my god, yes! Like if it's in the middle of my chest.
Yeah.
And for me, that's gonna be like the trophy. That's gonna be like right. That's the trophy titty. That's there. You know.
Yes.
Oh, can you imagine people like clipping stuff like from yesterday's stream was enough of just like pure randomness. Oh, and now today the trophy titty has arrived, and I remember the first Would You Rather. It was I admitted I was a slime. With the maple syrup question. Oh. So, would you rather solve world hunger or global warming?
Oh, those are both really big issues.
I'm gonna go for global warming for me, because then with global warming,
that'll rectify food system.
Yeah, like we could, if we fix global warming, we could like help better the food supplies. Yeah, global warming is defo a thing we're gonna have to go with. I don't know, Scott. Maybe Scott has a different answer. But I think it's good though, like, especially because a lot of stuff is melting. Like the polar bears, bro. Come on. You know, and all the walruses. Like, I watched the David Attenborough like documentary. You know, spoiler alerts if you've not seen it, but they were talking about how walruses had to go to places to rest because all the ice was essentially melting, so they didn't have any of their places to rest. And walruses are like quite big and stuff, and they were going up mountains, and they literally showed all these walruses, like, because they're technically blind as well, they'd slip on a rock on a mountain and just fall and die. And I was like, oh, like honestly, like, I think as well fighting global warming would make David Attenborough proud. So David Attenborough, like, you know, I'm gonna be sad if he goes. My hero, that guy. All right, on to lighter topics before I get upset over dying walruses.
Mood.
Would you rather have to wear every shirt inside out or every pair of pants backwards? I'm going for the shirt. Oh, wow.
Yeah, because pants backwards just, it doesn't fit,
especially
right?
like if you have jeans. Can you imagine a dude, for example, if they have to wear something that zips to, you know, go to the toilet? How the hell are you going to manage that with like jeans on backwards? Inside out is definitely a thing. Oh my god, if you share a birthday with David Attenborough, I'm gonna love you even more, because that's just amazing. Shirts for the toilet reason, yeah. Like I like pants,
I'm just
but like
thinking about the fact that I have a bubble butt, so that doesn't handle jeans backwards well at all.
Yeah,
I tried it one time on accident, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't
no, like even things like joggers as well, like they loosen the back is always much looser to accommodate the butt. So if you were to like put any pants on backwards, you're gonna have like a very constricted butt and a very like floppy front. Oh my god. Bestie shares a birthday with David Attenborough. We are I'm happy now. Yes. Okay. So would you rather live in a tree house or a cave? I'm going for cave because I'm a dragon. Oh, share a birthday with Sophie Turner.
Pretty amazing tree houses.
Like, I would. I considered
the cave, and we can be neighbors.
As a kid, I did used to want a tree house because they're not common here. You know, we don't usually.
Yeah.
We're not really allowed to build stuff in the trees of our garden per se, because the trees are protected.
Protected, and you guys don't really have space for that either.
No, that is true.
To be fair.
And but I'm scared of heights, so like falling from a tree would be like no.
Okay.
Oh dear.
We have a show over here that is literally a guy that builds these tree houses for famous people. It's like Treehouse Master or something. And he builds actual houses in trees. And it's really cool. By me. No worries.
I'm okay. Oh god, that was a coughing fit and a half. My eyes are like watering.
Okay, so this guy he does professional tree houses, and that's what he does. He
Oh.
carpenter, so now he does it this way.
Scott has clipped the trophy titty.
Perfection.
Ah,
So,
I love
here,
that.
I'll send you in your DM one of the tree houses that he's done, just to get an idea of what kind of stuff he does.
I'd like that. Like, as a kid...
oh, if I could live in a treehouse like that, that would be superb. Let's go.
I know. You're gonna go get some chimkin. Ooh, chicken. Oh, hell, that's a good one. At least, you know, you can get from the ground up.
Really loud.
You know? But don't have...
Yeah, no, he has completely accessible houses. Like, these houses have, like, electricity, running water. They're proper houses in the trees, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
I apologize for that coughing fit. It's still, like, a little bit there, but it's
you're
not
good.
that bad.
Still tickle.
Yeah, it's one of those, you know, it just wouldn't stop to the point where I was like, I need to mute both my Discord and my stream for a minute because I'm dying. Oh,
Like,
I know. I was like to the point where like my eyes were just watering. I was like, oh god, is this gonna stop?
You're like,
Especially
it's my time. Goodbye.
on stream as well. I'm like, oh no, I'm not ignoring people. I just don't want to blow your ears out with my coughing. Because I've got a good quality mic, you know, I've got a Blue Ice. So I'm like, yeah, that picks up a lot. But it's one of those, like, if it starts, it's like, oh no. Sometimes it'll go, but then I'm like, enjoy your chicken, dears. But yeah, definitely a cave, because, like, I'm a dragon. And, you know, it'd be weird if, like, I don't think a dragon can fit in a tree very well, you know?
Fair enough.
But I like the idea of like making like a fire pit inside like a cave and stuff, and like getting lots of like furs and stuff, you know, as you would. You'd have to hunt and stuff. You get some pretty big yeah, I've seen like really huge trees. Like I want to see like the redwood trees at some point, like properly go and visit places that have massive trees. I also want to visit the Poison Garden, the Death Garden. There's a place in the UK called the Death Garden. And essentially it's a garden that has every like poisonous and deadly plant / tree ever like in existence. And they have them there. And they even have like cages around some of them. And you can go visit them. And I'm like, I need to go there at some point, you know? Because, you know, chaos. Oh dear. Alright. So, would you rather win £25,000 or your best friend wins £100,000?
What was the first option?
Win £25,000 or your best friend wins £100,000?
Best friend win 100,000.
I don't know, like with mine,
they would share it with me, so
with,
like, I would.
It's the opposite for me. Like my supposed best friend they've forgotten I've existed for like, and they forgot my birthday. So for me, it's like I don't have like that. I've got a lot of best friends, but not my ride or die bestie, what the question would refer to. And I'm like, so for me, I space myself around my other best friends. Like, if I took the ride or die person out of the equation, which I am going to probably be doing because, you know, she's even forgotten to, like, I exist. I love her, and she's a workaholic, but she's made new friends as well, and she's grown herself as a person, and people drift apart. But I've also made so many new friends in the VTuber community whom I love and cherish quite a lot. Like, if it was, say, for example, me and you, I'd be like, yeah, you get the 100,000. You know, it's simple as that. Same with, like, Anime Lover 69, of course, you know. If it's genuine people who I know care about me and be like, no, I got you. You know, then it's fine. But sometimes I always have the what ifs in my mind. It's like, as soon as you wave that large amount of money around in somebody's face, they could just go, oh no, I don't need you anymore. Or did you think I was going to share it with you? And spend it on themselves. Like, it's that, like, fear in the back of your heads, you know?
Yeah. No, that's a genuine thing to feel. Like, you
Oh.
don't know for sure these people.
Oh, don't cry, Anime. Oh, look at her. She's so cute. Adorbs. It's in Altwick Castle, which is one of the places that was used. Oh, yes, that's right. I couldn't remember where it was, Scott. Thanks for letting me know. Of course. I'm nice. I'm nice until, you know, people hurt my jelly babies. Of course. Protective dragon. You know, gotta protect Kit here from the spookies. Alright. So, would you rather be in history books for something terrible, or be forgotten completely after you die? I will take being forgotten.
I don't have to be. I don't
From
have
the
to be
spooky poops.
recognized.
Oh, you're about 30 minutes away from Alnwick Castle. Oh, I think Alnwick's quite far from me, actually. But I do want to arrange a meetup at some point in the future. When we have money.
But I'll be there, kicks in your door.
Yes, this is like, bitches, I'm here.
Actually, I need to renew my passport. So
I need to get a passport. Like, I've not had a passport since I was 17. Because I've never, like, gone back abroad on holiday, so I've never needed one. And they're expensive. Also, I know you're from Scotland, Anime. Yes, of course I am. I'm Welsh.
I got my passport right out of school, and it was a 10-year passport, and it finally just, I think, this year or last year.
They're expensive as well. I think it's like £80 for an adult to get their passport done. That's not included, like, how much, like, the photos were. I think it's gone up, like, £20-30 since, like, because my grandmother used to pay for all the passports years ago. And it's gone up, like, £20 or £30 because it used to only cost, like, £50 just to get your passport. Oh, cool. Yeah, we have quite a few Brits in chat. But yeah, also don't be shy, chat. You are free to interact as well. We don't bite. Well, I mean, Kit might take your ankles. Kit's like,
don't lie to them.
It's like no. It's like we just throw her food, and she's fine for now. I mean, in a good way. Of course, it's a good way, dude. Don't worry. Yeah, you guys are just a bit. You're quite further up than me. You're in Scotland. I'm down in Wales. So yeah, because I'm a Welsh dragon. One of my dreams though is to meet Avak, the Welsh YouTuber, like, and streamer. Like, he has an amazing accent, and I'm like, sir, you're a fellow dragon. Scotch Eggy, oh my god, yes. Oh, we need to make a cheapy Scotch Eggy now for Anime. I love that. Also, thanks Scott for clipping some of the highlights. You're on the roll, but you're on the ball. You live about an hour south of the border on the east side. You have a PNG of an egg. You need to put, like, the sausage casing on the outside though, with the little arms. Okay, so would you rather travel the world for free for a year, or have £50,000 to spend however you please? Give me the money.
Yeah, money.
Like,
because I can always use some of that money to travel later, and I don't really have many travel places to go, but I could really use that money right
now. I wanna, like, the main places I wanna visit at the moment. So there's Japan at some point.
Oh,
and
that's on the list.
And then somewhere in America, just so I could meet my lovely friends. You know.
You're so spread out though.
Yeah, like,
places.
For me, it'd be like a mix of either America or Canada, where we just, like, meet up, or I do both. And obviously maybe Germany, because, you know, we can rescue Zen.
Honestly, traveling isn't that expensive.
No.
You can go to multiple places, especially if you plan it out ahead of time.
Yeah, like, for me as well, I'd want to learn to drive, so that money would go towards that, you know? Because driving's super fun. I'll take the 50k, because I don't know how many places I want to go, and with free travel, I'd still have to pay for food. Yeah. Food isn't cheap, you know? But, like, I'd probably spend some of that 50,000 on Japanese snacks, because, you know.
Oh, no doubt.
But yeah. But yeah, like, my throne is just heavily bombarded with snacks. And bubble tea. Which is always super fun. So, would you rather you're only to talk to your dog, or for your dog to be able to talk to only you and everyone thinks you're nuts? So like, you can't talk to anyone else but your dog, or...
No, I'm completely fine with my dog being able to talk to me. I don't think I'm fucking nuts, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
talk to my cat now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people talk to their pets anyway, and some consider them fur babies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know, hotels are expensive, dude. It depends which one you go to, but it's usually the cheaper options are bad. Yeah, definitely. The dog only talking to me, it's like, hey, now I know, like, I don't have to guess when to feed you. Or when you need the toilet, you know? Like, that would save so many accidents. Like, human, take me outside. I must use the bathroom. But yes. Oh dear. Make sure you stay hydrated, kids. You don't want to have a coughing fit. Alright. Would you rather have a mullet for a year or be bald with no wigs for 6 months? I'd go bald for half a year, honestly. Like, I've shaved half my hair. The mullet's for a year, and being bald is for half a year. But if you're bald, you can't wear any wigs.
I could rock being bald though.
Oh yeah, just think of all the hats we could wear. You know, they didn't say anything about a hat. Like, I'd wear I just rock a massive cowboy hat. Like, if I was bald, I'm just like, yeah, just give me this giant, like, you know, cowboy hat, and I'd look awesome. I'd be like, yeah. You know, like, for me it's fun. Mullet for a year, because I still cut it to a reasonable length and dye it. Oh, yeah. I mean, you'd have a very colourful mullet, sir, but yes. Yes, indeed. Let's see. So, would you rather go back to the past and meet your loved ones who passed away, or go to the future to meet your children or grandchildren to be? I'm going to the past. I've got people I want to go see. Like,
I want to learn so much stuff.
It's like, I'm sorry, I want to go back in the past so I can get my nan's stew recipe. Like, lady, give it me. Like, I can never perfect that recipe, but if there was an option to go back and be like, I need tea. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's cool. Being childless is awesome, too. The past can hurt, but, like, I'd miss the people who aren't here now. It's like, I'm like, hey, come look at what I've accomplished. I'm a PNG tuber. You know? I read spooky stories and play games with people. You know? And I'm a chaotic dragon. But, you know, I did die. I'm eating well. You know, little victories. It's like, on the plus side, I've not killed anyone. You know? I'm not in jail. Those are the victories for me.
Those are the victories.
It's like,
no jail.
Yeah, it's like, don't look at the fact that, you know, your granddaughter is like putting on a lovely show for people on the internet, telling them stories, and things like that. It's like, no, it's cool. It's cool. I think that they'd be proud, to be honest, but I just want to give them a hug. Oh, jeez! Thanks for the follow, Zen! How are you? Zentonic, my bro! You finally stopped by! Thank you very much for the follow! I hope you're well, dude. Thanks for coming. We're currently playing Would You Rather, so Chat and Kit are playing. It's super fun. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the new spooky setup at the minute. Alright, so let's see. Would you rather have Angelina Jolie's lips or Jennifer Aniston's hair? I want the hair, to be honest.
Hair, yeah.
Like, I'd feel weird if, like, I ever got a lip job. Like, that's not on my things of consideration. You want to give your loved ones a hug? Oh, of course, Scott, yeah. Like, we always wish to give people a hug one last time. I think that'd be nice, to be honest. Oh, dear. Yeah, I like that. Hugs are nice. I miss my hugs off my nan. I do miss them, you know, bickering at each other and the gardening. That was fun. Let's see. Would you rather stay the age you are physically forever, or stay the way you are now financially forever? Oh, let me stay physically this age, please. You know.
What's the second one?
Or you can stay financially how you are now forever.
Age.
Is that we're taking age?
I don't want this financial.
Physically,
Nope.
this age, definitely. I mean, I look great for a 5,000-year-old dragon, don't you think? You know,
Yes. Yes.
that I'd definitely be like, I'm taking age. Like, you would rather death. Of course, Zen. But that wasn't the option, dude. You're free from the verified prison. Oh, thank you very much, Anime. I know. It's the blood of mine enemies keeps my skin youthful. I appreciate it. It's like, no one else looks this great. Except Elysian, because, you know, fellow dragon. You know.
Listen, it's fire.
Fire! Your account user verified. Oh, well. Shoot on a cracker, bro. You're free from the prisons, then. That's good. Yeah. We gotta keep it safe, yo. My mods do a good job helping me keep this place safe. You know, you don't want to be, like, swarmed with the bots. I think that's one of my paranoias, is just being raided by bots. I'm like, no! So you were on and wanted to drop in, give me a follow. Scheduled for a Malifaux match in a couple of hours. Oh, yes! Do let me go know how it goes, dude. You've been painting those models. It looks good. No, you do not. Nah, it's preaching. Alright. Would you rather be in a zombie apocalypse or a robot apocalypse? I'm picking zombie because
Yeah, I can at least deal with those.
robots are smart.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like, robots are smart, so I'm like, no. I've seen I Am Legend, you know, Not Will.i.am, fucking Will Smith, goddamn. You tell I don't watch movies much. I know. Can you imagine Will.i.am in a zombie apocalypse? Oh, that'd be glorious. I think zombies, because, you know, I could probably still outrun a zombie. You know, would be fine. Would you rather be alone all your life or surrounded by really annoying people? Oh.
Annoying people.
Oh yeah, I'd take the annoying people. Like, I
need social interactions.
Yeah, like, I don't mind being alone and stuff, but like,
as well.
but there's only so much comfort a pet can give you.
Yeah.
You know, like, even an annoying person, there's things such as like,
even an annoying pet.
yeah, there's things of like, you know, we have other ways of keeping ourselves occupied.
You know, I absolutely don't handle being alone well.
But if you think about it, there's a lot of annoying people in the world we live in. So essentially, we're already doing that. So we've already got the experience. We've got the Karens of the world and things like that, and the Chads. I apologize if your names are Karen and Chad, by the way. But you know, those types of people.
I don't apologize.
But we like to... I think as well, like, we'd be accustomed to it. But I mean... People might like the idea of being alone, but it's a case of no. They'd miss it, I think, after a while. They'd end up like the guy from who made a Coconut Friend. Oh, what's that film? Oh, I'm terrible with films. The guy, like, he made Wilson. He Castaway, yeah. Like, I think people would end up making a bunch of Wilsons, to be honest. Wilson!
Sorry, I still have Aegis tabbed on my browser.
Oh, bless him.
And somebody did his bake a cake redeem, and I lose
oh,
every time I hear it.
I love that song. We're gonna have to. I'll have to try and put like something like that on my redeems when I hit affiliate. So, you know.
I haven't set up any sound redeems yet.
Zen
I have
helped.
A bunch of gremlins. I have a bunch of gremlins in my stuff. I don't want that.
Zen's follows helped us get a little bit closer to our goal, which is awesome.
Yeehaw.
But yes, would you rather give up your cell phone for a month or bathing for a month? Oh, I'll give up bathing. I don't care. Like, you give up your phone for a month.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a...
I'll suffer.
Cleanliness. I can't go that long without bathing. I would give my phone up for a month. I have other means of communication.
No, like for me, it's like, no.
I got my computer. I got consoles.
Like for me, with mental health and stuff, like I don't mind. Like I get distracted, but I'm like, you know, bathing's not so bad. You know, deodorant and dry shampoo exist for that month. But I use my phone way too much, so yeah, I may have an addiction to that I'd give up bathing for a month.
I can't.
Like, no. Bathing, yes. Bestie gets it. Absolutely. I know. Like, there's somebody I follow on TikTok who has an obsession with bath bombs, and I'm just like, why? Like, I couldn't, like, I found them weird. I used a bath bomb once, and then I was like, I don't like sitting in a bath, because you sit in, like, dead skin cells. So I was like, I prefer showers over baths. So, like, I wouldn't mind, you know, giving up a bath, but it's like, no. And relaxing baths too much. I used to enjoy relaxing baths to help with my back pain. But every time I did, I'd just see dirt and skin cells just floating in the water, and I'm like, nope. So I'd end up, like, draining the bath and showering straight after.
See what I do? I'm a degenerate, and I will shower myself off, then bathe, and then shower off again.
Oh, no. Like,
film off. I'm weird like that. Like, if I ever take a bath.
Yeah, like, I enjoy washing my hair more than, like, the act of bathing itself. Like, if I can't be bothered to have a shower and stuff, I'm just like, right, you know, we'll do, like, a washcloth wash on all the important bits and stuff, then we'll wash our hair. Like, we're done. You know? I just like, you know, massaging my head, though. Like, I don't want to be dirty in a relaxing bath. Yes! Like, I didn't used to that. So growing up, like, obviously as a kid and stuff, you know, bath times are the funnest times ever. And then my grandmother made the comment one time to me. She was like, oh, no, showers are much more nicer as you get older. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you don't notice all the dirt and dead skin cells floating around the bath. And I was like, nah. She's pulling my leg. The one day I had a bath pretty much after she'd said that. And I cleaned myself, and I, you know, as you go to relax and stuff after you've washed yourself down, I looked at the water and went, oh, hell no. And I was like, No. I had to literally drain the bath and shower myself down because I was grossed out. And I was like, why have you done this to me? Look what you've done to me. And she was like, oh, it's quicker. You know, get yourself clean. Shower, skincare, exfoliate, clean tub, then run a bath, relax and shower again. I don't get time usually to relax except when I'm asleep. So like showers, it's like, you know, I like to blast music when I have a shower and sing sometimes, so that's fun. Would you rather spend a day cleaning your worst enemy's house or have your crush spend the day cleaning your house? Oh, I'm taking my crush cleaning my house, thank you.
Okay, what was the first one?
Would you rather spend a day cleaning your worst enemy's house or have your crush spend the day cleaning your house?
I'm weird about cleaning. I'd rather do it myself. If that's
Yeah.
sounds weird, but
like I'd have my partner.
I'm gonna just redo what somebody else does anyway, so I might. As
yeah, my partner's like my crush, so for me it's a case of I'd happily sit there with a cup of tea and watch him clean. Like, because usually cleaning's my job at home because my partner cooks. Because I suck at cooking. You know, I'm not the best cook. I can bake some things and I can cook basic stuff, but I like my partner to cook because he makes really nice food. So I do the cleaning, so that's pretty much our shared responsibilities. So if I was given the choice where he could just clean my house and I could watch that, I'd be like, hell yeah. I'd like to relax like that. And he cleans it a little bit better than me. I clean it to the bare minimum, but he likes to make it all like nice clean. I guess maybe if they are going through it, bestie, definitely. Like if you're going through a hard time, like I watch Clean Talk. I've been living on the side of TikTok where nice people clean like people with bad mental health and like hoarders homes because they can't afford to clean it or it's gotten on top of them. And I just watch them. I'm just like invested in them. The ones I can't get invested on are the people who pour too much chemicals down the toilet so it overflows with foam and stuff. It's like, oh honey, are you not high or something from all the fumes? But I do like to watching Clean Talk, especially if you're doing it for a good cause. Like, oh my god, I know they make mustard gas. It's like, ma'am, are you okay? Like, I can just imagine the aftermath of that video. So they've done all their little video for their views and stuff. And then after, it's like, open all the windows. It's like, yeah, are your lungs okay? Or they're just like crawling out of the room, coughing, wheezing, yeah. That's where the Pokemon wheezing came from. Too many people obsessed with cleaning their toilet with like eruptions. I've also seen like on TikTok the people from Asia who they're basically paid to promote these like really cool products and gadgets for their home, and it's like, I want all of these. I need them all. Like, and they have some really cool stuff for like your bathroom, your toilet, and other stuff, and I'm like, I need these. Yes, I want to buy all of them. Exactly. Like, like the ones that also get me, it's like there was a woman I watched, I think they were on the TLC a while back, like, and they were obsessed with drinking bleach, and I was like, and bathing in it. I was like, oh honey, no. Like, I generally feel bad for those people. Yes, bestie. Your pH. No, my pH. What about my pH? Bathing in bleach. Oh, I know. But it's a weird, like, the people you find on TLC with strange obsessions, it's like, I genuinely hope they did get help, because I'm like, oh no. Like, I've cringed at some. Like, there was a woman obsessed with drinking her own pee. And I was like, no, no. You know, that's a bit much for me. Was there a woman who, like, sofa cushion? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there was also a woman who ate rocks, a girl who ate plastic, a girl who drank gasoline. There was a guy in a sexual relationship with his car. The list goes on. I do recommend people check out TLC to see them. You'll find them on YouTube as well if you type in like my weird obsessions and stuff.
Yeah. I can't picture the whole thing. That grosses me out like a lot.
Oh yes, a woman married to a roller coaster. I remember that one. And the woman who ate cat hair. Yeah. It's like don't do it. You know, it's not healthy. So, would you rather spend an eternity alone or a year without a home?
Again, I can't handle being alone, so
I'd go home. I'd go homeless. I mean, I'd go homeless. I mean, you could find a tent.
I have enough friends that I can couch hop for a year.
Oh, definitely couch hop for a year.
Bad as that sounds, I am going to be getting ready for work, but I am still here.
Yeah, don't worry. You're gonna do an eternity alone, bestie. Oh dear. No, wait. Yeah, we can couch hop. Like, or I know there's a few homeless people in my town. They have tents. Like, or they have like mattresses in like abandoned shop places and a bunch of like blankets and stuff. Oh yeah, you can change your mind totally, bestie. But let's see. Would you rather buy all used underwear or all used toothbrushes? I'm buying used underwear because I can wash them.
Yeah, used underwear. I can wash those.
If
Toothbrush is a sacred object.
No,
right?
it's
fine.
no,
Don't touch it.
It's like no, yeah, definitely used undies because you can wash them. You know, you can give them a good few washes and they will come out clean. But like used toothbrushes, it's like I don't know what has been in your mouth, what is in there. You know, you could end up with a toothbrush with somebody who had gingivitis and stuff. And it's like, no. The underwear, because you can at least wash them. Indeed you can, yes. And there are plenty of easy and like non-toxic ways to get stubborn stains out. But with a toothbrush, you can't really wash it per se. Like, you can like rinse it in under like really boiling hot water and then some mouthwash, Listerine, but like not a lot after that. All right. So would you rather have a photographic memory of an IQ of 200?
I think I don't know.
I'd go with photographic memory because I don't understand IQ numbers. Like, that's how bad my IQ must be. Like, cause
that's a very high IQ.
A high IQ. Maybe then if
it's incredibly high, like genius level.
If I had a genius level IQ, then I'd probably go with that because that could be a good job. Like, I could like be smart enough to do other stuff which meant more money. Maybe. Because you can memorize the facts for a 200 IQ. Yeah. Scott makes a valid point. Yeah. But also, if you have a photographic memory, if you see anything like traumatic or anything, that's not leaving.
You will never forget. Yeah.
Oh no! Like it's
I'll take the IQ, I think.
If somebody said to,
I don't know. My hang up was I will never forget anything ever again.
Like, imagine if like you're studying like for. Imagine if you're studying for like a history test and they make you like remember, you know, learn everything in your history book. It's like, oh yeah, you're traumatized. You know. Right. Or even if you see, like, you know, a squirrel get hit by a car or something, it's like, oh, that's not leaving. You could be smart academically, but dumb in other ways. Like me. Rare self-call out. You're not dumb, bestie. You're fine. Okay, so would you rather go on a cruise with your boss or never go on vacation ever again? Oh, I'm going with my boss. He's a chill dude. You know,
I could tolerate my boss long enough.
my
I don't want to not have to go on vacations ever again.
my voice acting bosses are pretty good, so.
Okay, that is my last question, though. I am.
Yeah, and don't worry, that'll be where I wrap up the Would You Rathers, because we can start story time now. But thank you very much. I will give you a shout out too.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Why can I not find your name on this? What's your name on Twitter? On Twitch? He's gone. Oh, well. What was her? Oh, God, who knows? If anyone could remind me what Kit's thingy was, I will give her a shout out. Oop. Because I've forgotten. Ooh. Let's see. Cruise, because your boss is technically me. Yeah, cruises sound nice. I'd like cruises. Ooh. My tea has nearly gone cold. Oh, the shame. Hello, Rosa. How are you? It's so good to see you. You're just in time to start stories now. We just played some rounds of Would You Rather with Kit and chat. And Kit has gone to work now, so we can delve into reading some stories. Which is always super, super fun. But yes. I hope you've been well, Rosa. I hope you're all settled in with your mom now. But yes, you're just in time for us to start story time. And this story is called When Dusk Falls on Hadley Township by T.W. Grimm. You're in a cuddle mood. Oh, grab your pets, have some cuddles, and enjoy some stories, yeah? Sunset over Hadley Township is almost always picture perfect. No matter what time of year it is, it's doubtful that anyone would disagree with that statement. Not if they've ever witnessed the event firsthand. However, most people in these parts would argue that the sunset is at its most stunning in the summertime. In mid-July, Hadley Township is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and when the pink lace gold of the early evening sky begins to deepen in the dark crimson shades of dusk, it could be mistaken for the Garden of Eden. Soon enough, all the lawns will begin to sizzle and die beneath the oppressive glare of the August sun. But for now, the grass is green and the meadows are dense and lush with the bounty of summer. Aside from its natural beauty, Hadley is basically a desolate patch of wilderness, a rural municipality with a total population of just under 2,000 souls. It's a place without tourist attraction or major urban centres, mostly comprising forest, farmland and towering blue sky. There are a few scattered hamlets within its borders, but most of them are basically just a collection of houses surrounding a wide spot in the road. They might boast a gas station, a variety store, or maybe even a small bank, but never all three. Hadley Township is said to be blessed, and after taking in the spectacular sunset, it would be hard to disagree with that statement. A blessing, however, can sometimes also be a curse. On this particular evening, Roger Mosley is out cutting his grass on his riding lawnmower, a never-ending task when one lives on a farm. He notices that the shadows are starting to lengthen and realizes that it's high time to call it quits on mowing for the evening. He parks the mower in the barn, takes a wander around the barnyard to look for his daughter. Even though it's still relatively early in the evening, it's time for her to get inside. Normally, he'd let her stay out late enough to go chasing after the fireflies, but not tonight. Tonight, everyone has to be inside before dusk. Roger has lived on the farm with his entire life, and he is grateful for his quiet, honest existence. The farm is successful and has always turned a profit. The modest prosperity of the land stretches back for 10 generations. Family roots run deep in Hadley Township. Most of the farmers still plough the same fields that their ancestors cleared with an axe over 200 years ago. And Roger was no different. He was born a Hadley man, and he would die a Hadley man. Roger finds Sadie and Rufus at the edge of the cornfield, chasing after butterflies in the slanting sun rays. Identical grins plastered on their faces. Both girl and dog have been stained green by the fresh cut grass. He brings them up to the house and sends them inside for Katie to deal with, answering her annoyance with a meek little shrug. She kneels down to give them both a mock scolding at eye level, her hands planted firmly on her generous hips and a smile threatening to break out and spread across her face. Sadie and Rufus look down at the carpet and shuffle their feet, enduring Katie's lecture with pouting defiance. "I'll be in soon," he says. "Gonna have a smoke." Katie gives her husband a small nod over the top of Sadie's sweaty, tousled head. A look passes between them. "Don't be too long," she tells him softly. "Tonight's the night." Roger takes a walk around the house, frowning at the uneven lawn and lighting a hand-rolled cigarette with a match. He notes that the cut looks pretty ragged. The mower blades must be getting dull. He stands in his front yard and watches as the western half of the sky begins to glow with a gentle golden hue. The bright blue slowly giving way to shades of amber and rose. He looks up at the sky for a long, long time, motionless and tense, and his roly gradually burns into a forgotten tower of ashes between his fingers. We leave Roger Mossley standing in his front yard and travel west down Country Road 22, chasing after the setting sun. We pass endless acres of rustling cornfields, all of them standing well over 8 feet in height. The soil in Hadley Township is renowned throughout the country for being uncommonly rich and fertile. If a Hadley man were to sell his farmstead to an outsider, it would fetch a pretty penny above market value, but it's unlikely that will ever happen. There hasn't been a sale of land within township lines in well over 200 years. The landscape is dominated by the surnames Mossley, Van Doren, Borden, and Weir. They are emblazoned onto mailboxes and road signs all across the township, as well as appearing in the names of public schools, bridges, nature reserves, and a dozen different little hamlets. Excuse me. Even garbage dumps and transfer stations bear the mark of the 4 original families, the oldest bloodlines in the municipality. The entire historical patchwork of Hadley Township is threaded together with these names, and there's hardly a single acre that hasn't been owned by one of these families during the span of the past 2 centuries. Interwoven family trees and their equally complicated claims on the land have turned Hadley into a very close-knit corner of the world, which is exactly how they want it. The people here take care of their own. Outsiders are tolerated, but they are never truly welcomed. Hadley is a place of uncommon beauty, but it is also a place of secrets. The massive cornfields come to an end at the corner of County Road 22 and Weir Line. From there is a 3-mile stretch of land on either side of the 22 that has been divided into a number of large private lots. The majority of these lots are occupied by homeowners, but a few small businesses can be found in the mix. Mom and pop operations that are run by local residents. Not everyone in Hadley is a farmer. There is a small but thriving business community here as well. Enterprises that vary from pet groomers to candle makers to car mechanics and machine shops. All of them are at least modestly successful. Here we meet Brian Caldwell, the owner and proprietor of a small supply warehouse for landscaping materials. A one-man operation with the decidedly unimaginative name Caldwell Landscaping Supply. Although it is currently the height of landscaping season, Brian called all of his own suppliers earlier in the day and cancelled his pending orders. He then flipped the sign on the door from open to closed, turned off the lights, and sat down on the floor in the middle of his showroom. He is still sitting there now, slumped over in the gloom as the sun lowers in the sky and the shadows stretch their skeletal arms to the east. Brian Caldwell has gone insane, which is not an unusual occurrence in Hadley Township. In fact, it happens all the time. People around these parts have their secrets, it's true, but there are a number of people in the township who are unaware of its old traditions, Brian being one of them. His father had known of them all too well, but Rick Caldwell had always taken great care to shield his sons from certain facts regarding the true nature of their little corner of the world. Even still, Hadley is one of those places where an uncomfortable sort of psychic residue seems to linger in the air. It rasps away at the back of the mind, a low and unpleasant itching of the subconscious that makes people extra irritable during the long, hot days of August, and downright mean when the temperatures plummet in the month of January. Unfortunately, some people are naturally more sensitive to this low-key mental assault than others, and Brian Caldwell is unlucky enough to be such an individual. Over the course of the past few weeks, Brian has become convinced that the moon is actually the staring eye of an ancient beast, an evil presence that dwells in a howling void that exists somewhere just beyond the reaches of outer space. Brian believes that the beast watches our world every night with its jealous eye, hungering for our destruction. His delusion began as a nagging little notion in the back of his mind, a soft, insistent whisper, but it quickly inflated into an all-encompassing paranoia that occupies Brian's every waking thought, every single minute of the day. Nobody knows what Brian's increasingly volatile mental state or the nature of his delusion. At first, he refrained from telling anyone because he was afraid people would think he was crazy. But as his strange new conviction sank its poisonous hooks deeper into his mind, Brian began to fear that his friends and customers might actually be servants of the evil eye, agents who spy on him and report their observations back to their nocturnal master when the sun goes down. Brian decided that it was imperative to hide his newfound awareness from the people around him. He became quiet and watchful, glaring out at the world through bloodshot eyes, squinting and bleary under the weight of his constant suspicion. Brian had been awake for almost 100 hours. Sleep is an impossible feat. Recently, the eye developed the ability to see right through the roof of his house, and at night he can actually feel the thing's loathsome gaze crawling across his trembling body, covering his very existence. Dawn brings temporary relief, but the eye is always lurking just beyond the horizon, waiting for the heavens to grow cold and black in the wake of the waning sun. Waiting for its chance to arise and stare hatefully into Brian's soul, Brian Caldwell became a time bomb waiting to go off, and this morning the inevitable explosion finally came. As he sat at the kitchen table staring blankly at the sunlight that was streaming through the east windows, Brian suddenly realized that his own wife was actually an agent of the Beast, and so was his teenage daughter. The revelation hit him like a ton of bricks, and he let out a keening, whistling little gasp, his pallid face crumpling grief and rage. All along it had been his own fucking wife and kid. For Christ's sake, his own flesh and blood. Emmy asked, "Did you just say something, hun?" Without looking up from the dishes, Brian stared at her back, his fists clenched on the table on either side of his coffee mug. He tore his eyes away from the treacherous demon bitch and gazed back into the depths of the hazy morning sunbeams. His eyes narrowed into slits. Of course they were serving the eye. They had always served the eye. How had he been so blind to this fact for so long? Brian got up from the table and crept in behind Emmy as she stood at the sink, his lips skinned back from his teeth in a rictus of hate. He took out a folding buck knife and pulled the blade. When he was done, Brian placed Emmy's head on the counter and stepped carefully over her body, trying his best to be stealthy and quiet. He tiptoed upstairs and pounced on Mary Beth as she was engaged in some last-minute fussing with her eyebrows in the bathroom mirror, rushing to get ready in time for school. Mary Beth fought him like a demon she really was. Screeching and clawing, she managed to fend off her father's initial attack and bolted past him, running down the hallway with her hair streaming behind her and blood blooming like roses on the back of her shirt. Brian scrambled after her, his eyes bulging and his face crisscrossed with deep, oozing scratches. He was simultaneously grinning, crying, and snarling like a rabid dog. "Did you think I'd never find out? Huh? Did you?" Brian tackled his daughter at the top of the staircase and pinned her to the floor of the hallway. He pushed the side of her head into the carpet and she wailed, "No, Daddy, please! Please don't hurt me!" He ignored the monster's trickery and plunged his knife into her neck, sinking it right up to the hilt. The blade pushed between two of Mary Beth's cervical vertebrae and severed her spinal cord. She abruptly stopped thrashing beneath him, and he finished the job in relative peace, sawing through her throat with no more emotion than if he'd been slicing into a particularly tough cut of rare steak. It was gruesome work, but that was how it had to be done. Brian knew this was to be true, because a sunbeam had told him so in the kitchen. It spoke to him in the patterns it made with the dancing motes of dust in the air, the arrangement of the shapes projected onto the linoleum as it shone through the east windows. Sunlight is golden. Sunlight is salvation. Brian knew this to be the truth. The whole thing was kind of a big relief, really. After long weeks of fear and confusion, it was finally all crystal clear. He'd been right all along. The darkness belongs to the eye of the beast. The sunbeams never tell lies. We leave Brian sitting there on the cold concrete floor of his showroom, with his arms wrapped around his knees, and continue on with our journey. The sun is almost touching the horizon now, and the heavens above have been painted with broad strokes of red and gold. We backtrack to Weir Line and head north. It isn't long before an old church appears on the right-hand side of the road, tucked cosily between a field of soybeans and a field of corn. It is non-denominational. It's a non-denominational house of worship that goes by the name the Church of Welcoming Dawn, which is where Pastor Jonathan Borden can be found on most Sunday mornings and on Wednesday evenings, the night he hosts a weekly Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Pastor John is currently sitting at his desk in his small office at the back of the church, reading through a passage in the Good Book and scribbling down notes in a binder full of lined paper. The Bible he is studying is unusual in appearance. It is a large, imposing tome that weighs almost 10 pounds, bounded in faded leather and likely printed by means of a wooden printing press. This Bible has been in use at the church for more than 200 years, and it has never been handled by anyone except the pastors of Welcoming Dawn, local men who have dedicated their lives to administrating to the spiritual needs of the citizens of Hadley Township. The Bible is written in an alphabet that predates Latin by almost 3,000 years, a language long dead to the rest of the world. Pastor John began his instruction on how to decipher the strange-looking ruins when he was still a boy, tutored after school every day by dour old Pastor Will, the man who had preceded him as head of the church. Pastor Will taught young Jonathan how to divine the deeper meaning behind the passages written in their good book, and showed him how he could relay God's word to the rest of the congregation with his sermons. The most important lesson imparted on young John during these formative years, however, was to always obey the word of the Lord, always, without question or hesitation. Pastor Will would often say, "The Lord has generously blessed our little community with fertility and good fortune, as He is a kind and loving God, but He can also be an unforgiving God. Never forget that, Jonathan, never." Pastor Will stressed to him on a near daily basis that it is the duty of mankind to praise Him, to satisfy his demands in the manner that has been laid out in detail in the good book. He darkly warned that woe will soon befall those who turn their backs on the will of their Lord, woe and suffering beyond imagining. Pastor John is currently struggling to write a sermon for his next service. The theme of the sermon is highly ironic to him: deliverance. His studies on the subject of deliverance quite often, although not in the manner you might expect. John Borden yearns for a personal deliverance from the grave responsibilities and even graver consequences of his life as the head of the church. Sitting there at his desk, with the fading light streaming through the west window, Jonathan closes his eyes and tries to imagine what life would be like if he had been born completely free and unbeholden to anything or anyone, free to wander, free to think or feel in any manner he might choose from 1 hour to the next. He scribs his hands across his face and blinks down at his notes. He imagines setting the pages in the binder on fire, then using them as a torch to spread the blaze around the entire damnable church. He smiles to himself, a bitter twist of his lips. He wouldn't dare do such a thing, not ever. He is trapped by virtue of his bloodline. There will be no deliverance, not for Pastor John. He will serve the church until the end of his days. The alternative is too awful for him to even contemplate. The Lord who watches over Hadley Township is unforgiving. His will must be obeyed. We still have one more stop to make before nightfall, so we leave the church and continue north on Weir Lane, until we reach a large patch of old-growth forest, a wild and rambling area that the locals refer to as Mosley Woods. We hang a right onto Blackmore Road, a glorified gravel lumber road that is in decidedly poor condition. Most Hadley residents avoid it like the plague, claiming that it's far too bedeviled by deep potholes and soft, crumbling shoulders to be safe for travel. Taking your vehicle onto Blackmore Road is a great way to bust a tie rod or bitch up your alignment if you aren't careful. Although it's true that the road isn't worth a damn, it's not really the potholes that people wish to avoid, it's Mosley Woods. It is thick and vast and forbidding. People have been known to get lost in there. People have been known to disappear in there entirely. We follow Blackmore's meandering, northwesterly path through the woods. It's already getting dark down here at ground level, but high above our heads the treetops glow like ripe summer wheat in the fading daylight. Dusk is almost upon us. There is a dirt path coming up on the left, peeking out from between the birch tree and a tangle of wild raspberries. You could easily miss it if you didn't know where to look. The path isn't much wider than a single vehicle, and it's in even worse shape than Blackmore Road, heavily rutted from years of ice, floodwaters and erosion. We follow it into the woods and discover that the rough little path is actually someone's driveway. This someone is Kurt Weir, an elderly recluse with a sour and unpleasant disposition. Kurt has just woken up from his afternoon drunk and is feeling a bit under the weather, but there's no time to piss and moan about his aching head. He has work to do. Kurt is 74 years old, a gangly scarecrow of a man who is blind in one eye and mostly deaf on the same side. He suffered these injuries back in the fall of '87, the result of standing a tad too close to a leaky moonshine still that decided to explode. Old Kurt still lives in the same dilapidated shanty that he built almost half a century ago. A tar paper shack with rusty aluminium-sided nails to the roof. He is the proud owner of several old Chevy trucks, all of which are decaying on cement blocks in the dirt patch that serves as his front yard. He is also something of a scrap metal enthusiast who hoards large quantities of rusty iron, rebar, steel beams, crates full of brass doorknobs and other such metallic detritus. His property is a safety hazard of jagged metal and random piles of rubble. Kurt has lived in seclusion in his remote little shanty for so long, most of the younger generations don't even know that he exists. The old-timers, those who are still sharp enough to remember that far back, could tell you that old Kurt had purchased the 7-acre woodlot from Roger Mosley Sr. for a song back in '67, just a few scant months after his young wife tragically died in a car accident. Nancy Weir had lost control of her vehicle early on a Sunday morning and hit a telephone pole out on the 22, not more than 3 miles from the Hadley-Albion border. Nancy had been doing at least 60 miles an hour when her Oldsmobile careened off the road and smashed into the pole. She was given a closed casket funeral. What the old-timers won't tell you is that there had been a short police investigation following Nancy's death. A number of the injuries the coroner found on Nancy's body were inconsistent with what would be expected from a fatal car accident. There were also questions regarding the state of the Oldsmobile's brake lines. Kurt Weir was soon paid a visit by a detective from the Burton County Homicide Unit, a stone-faced Irishman named Sean O'Connell. Kurt's answers to O'Connell's veiled accusations were sparse and well rehearsed. Frustrated by his inability to sweat a confession out of his suspect, the detective tried questioning Weir's closest neighbours. His inquiries were met with a brick wall of sullen, hostile silence. Unable to build a solid case, O'Connell was eventually pressured into throwing in the towel. Nancy's death was ruled an accident. Despite the county's official stance on the matter, Detective O'Connell never actually stopped working on the case. Nancy Weir had been murdered and was likely dead before she was placed behind the wheel of the Oldsmobile. She'd been torn apart, ripped and mutilated by a curved instrument with a sharp point. O'Connell believed that the murder weapon was a meat hook. There was no doubt in his mind that if he'd been able to obtain a search warrant, he would have found such an instrument hidden somewhere in the farmhouse the Weirs had been renting from Gilbert Van Doren, Kurt's uncle through marriage. At first, the detective assumed that Kurt's motive was the insurance payout, but after a while, he began to suspect that Nancy's murder was part of some greater, even more sinister conspiracy. He'd seen it in the eyes of the people he'd attempted to interview. They all had that blank, closed-off stare of someone who has grown accustomed to guarding a dangerous secret. O'Connell did some digging around and discovered that the Reeve of Hadley Township had personally paid a retaining fee to secure the service of a hotshot trial lawyer from the city. Why would the Reeve of the township hire a lawyer for a man who hadn't been officially charged with a crime, let alone the likes of Kurt Weir? He was a white trash alcoholic, chronically unemployed ne'er-do-well. It seemed highly unlikely that a man like that would have friends in such high places. It was also doubtful that foggy-headed Kurt could have orchestrated the accident on his own. Someone helped him do it. But who? And for God's sake, why? Detective O'Connell kept searching for the answers to these questions for 5 long years, right up until the day he died of a massive heart attack at the police station. His colleagues found him sitting upright at his desk, eyes bulging from their sockets and his mouth open to let out a scream. A copy of the previous year's census for Hadley's Township was clutched in one of his hands. There was an open notebook in front of him, and he'd scrawled the words "connected by blood" on the page so hard that the paper had torn beneath the tip of his pen. Kurt trudges out back to feed the livestock, a few sheep and goats that he keeps in a dilapidated pen behind his shack. He used to keep a few hens and a rooster too, back when he could still eat eggs. But these days Kurt sustains himself mostly on a diet of meal replacement drinks, oatmeal and whiskey, and the coop stands empty. The livestock are not for meat or milk, they serve a higher purpose. Kurt watches the snarfing, jostling beasts as they feed and randomly pick out one of the nannies. The number and nature of these beasts that he must put out into the dusk comes to him in his dreams, usually several nights beforehand. Tonight it will be a single goat. The billy goat has been granted perpetual exemption from the process. Kurt has developed a sort of grudging affection for the mean little bastard, and doesn't have the heart to put him out into the dusk. He decided a while ago that he'll just let the foul-tempered creature idle the rest of his days away in the pen, eating oats and kicking the living hell out of any creature that dares to venture too close. The billy's demeanour reminds Kurt of himself, to the point where the old man has affectionately christened him Kurt Jr. Kurt Jr. is the first animal that Kurt has bothered to name in a good long while. The ranks of the livestock change too often to care much about who is who. Jimmy Van Doren's half-wit son, Dougie, comes bumping down Blackmore Road in his father's cattle truck every month or so, bringing out new animals as needed. Kurt makes sure that he always has at least 3 goats and as many sheep on hand at all times. He knows from personal experience that it's very bad to be caught short. Very bad indeed. There are repercussions. Also, good job, Rosa! Kurt Weir is the 7th son of a man who was himself a 7th son, the lineage going back over 10 generations. He has the dreams and he brings the animals into the woods to suffer their fate. This is Kurt's inherited duty, and it has cost him dearly. The livestock are extremely skittish of leaving the safety of their pen. They refuse to approach the gate unless lured by some unfamiliar and exotic-looking treat. Kurt rips a clump of dandelions from the hard pack of soil in the yard and coaxes the nanny goat by waving them around and crooning, "Come over here and get the pretty yellow things, goat. Tasty, pretty little yellow things. Go on now." The nanny cautiously creeps in to a little closer, and Kurt swings open the gate. He bares his scant collection of caramel corn teeth in what's meant to be a disarming smile, makes kissy noises at her, dandelions in one hand and a rope knotted into a noose on the other. "That's it. Come on out and get them pretty yellow things. That's a good girl." The goat balks at crossing the threshold. She lowers her head and bleats, tensing to flee if the old man tries to grab her. Kurt starts pretending to eat the dandelions, smacking his lips and exclaiming at just how damn good they are, until the goat's curiosity finally outweighs her fear and she delicately tiptoes out of the pen. The little goat stretches her neck out to chomp down on the bobbing dandelion heads, and Kurt throws the noose around it, snapping it tight with a practiced flick of his wrist. The goat lets out a garbled-sounded shriek, tries to back away, but Kurt yanks the panicked creature off her feet, pins her to the ground beneath his rubber boot, and strangles her with the noose. He asphyxiates the poor creature until her struggles weaken and taper off into a few random twitches of her back legs, then eases the tension of the rope. It's simply wouldn't do to bring out an animal that was unconscious or dying. It had to be both alive and aware when the sun slipped on the horizon. These are the rules, and to deliberately break the rules is unthinkable. Kurt gives the goat a few minutes to recover, whistling tunelessly and staring off into space as he waits. When it seems as though the gasping little nanny will be strong enough to stand on her own, he hauls her upright and begins to lead her into the woods, still whistling his tuneless song. You can pick out enough of the melody to recognise that this song is Last Kiss by J. Frank Wilson and the Cavaliers, a song that Kurt and Nancy had their first dance to at their wedding. It was supposed to be Blue Moon, but the elderly gent who was hired to spin the records that night accidentally put on the wrong record. He was more of a Guy Lombardo sort of man, and didn't know the difference. Kurt and Nancy laughed it off, and swayed around together in the basement of the Legion in Powell's Mills, smiling for the cameras as their guests hooted and clapped and banged their fists on fold-out tables. Happy with the positive reaction it got, the old fella spun that little 45 over and over again that night, and Kurt's pretty young wife grew more enchanting in his eyes each time it was played. Kurt brings the goat to the sacred knoll, a journey that seems to get longer and longer with each successive full moon. He ties her to the post that has been sunk deep into the top of the little hill and leaves her there, bleating mournfully after him in the gathering darkness. When he was a younger man, Kurt used to feel a certain kind of sadness for the animals he left behind for the Lord. Nowadays, he feels nothing for them at all. All the bad feelings are reserved solely for himself and the faded memories of his lost love, who was taken from him by the good Lord on a foggy, rainy night in 1967. The Lord is unforgiving, and the Lord is vengeful. Kurt knows this to be true from personal experience. He is the seventh son, and his task is a grim one. But the repercussions of failing in this task are far, far worse. Kurt trudges back into his leaning little shack, still whistling his sad little tune. We leave him to his bottle and his inner demons. The sun has slipped below the horizon. Dusk has fallen on Hadley Township, and the moon now dominates the night sky overhead, full and bloated. It really does resemble an evil eye, a dead, milky eye that glares down on the world with cold, hateful glee. All across Hadley Township, people have locked themselves in their houses, pulled their curtains shut. They retire to bed early and restlessly wait for sleep to come, yearning for the welcoming dawn that will drive away the dreaded darkness that shrouds the fragile shell of their existence. The goat bleats and cries in the distance. An hour passes by, then another, and then there is a sound of powerful wings beating the air overhead. The stench of brimstone and corruption assails our nostrils. The goat begins to cry out with renewed vigour, fighting to escape the noose around its neck, strangling itself in a state of terrified panic. The moon is momentarily blotted out by a long serpentine shape. There is a split-second impression of gigantic bat wings and gaping jaws, and then the goat begins to scream. Screams abruptly stop. The flapping wings disturb the stillness of the night once more, and then all is silent. The will of the Lord has been satisfied. The people of Hadley Township will live to welcome the dawn once again. So now is a good time for a break. I hope you enjoyed that tale. No, yeah, sweet. Oh, I'm so proud of you for coming out to your mom, Rosa. Good job. So I'm going to grab myself a drink and stretch my legs. Feel free to do the same. Once we come back, I will be reading another story for you guys. So enjoy our lovely little intermission, and I shall see you shortly. think so. I'm not sure if it'll be noticeable, but I heard something that I think was snoring. I'm hoping it doesn't get picked up though. But I mean, it's a free sound effect. Oh god. No, oh, wrong one. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that. I accidentally muted the background music. I forgot the placement of it. You probably heard a lot of talking back there. Okay. Hopefully nothing too embarrassing you heard, but that's okay. But yes, I got up, I had a stretch, I took my cup into the kitchen. Scuff streams are way more entertaining. Oh, let's hope everybody else thinks like that. But tonight we will read one more story, and then we're going to go and raid such an amazing person. Didn't hear anything about someone snoring. That would have been my partner. He'd been working hard today, so he was a bit sleepy. He was a bit worried that he may have snored while I was streaming, but it's okay. I encourage naps, it's fine. He worked very hard. Alright. So are we all ready for another story? The last one of the evening? I hope so. And then, okay, so this story is called They Die Nameless by Aaron Shotwell. My name is Ad M.J.S. My name is Ada JMS. My name is Dam Aim. I've been writing these words over and over for the past 12 hours, writing to remind myself. Yet, no matter how many times I try to write it, it never lasts through the final stroke of the pen. I suspect it won't be long before the memory fades as well. I just hope this journal finds its way into someone's hands, anyone's hands. Please, whoever you are, please, remember me. June 5th, 1964. Since before my university years, I have been fascinated by ancient Egypt, the cradle of civilization where gods and empires rose from untamed sands. These stories of our beginnings lay buried in silent tombs for thousands of years. The Valley of the Kings had held answers to many mysteries, and sometimes new mysteries for the finding. A wealth of revelations and surprises, and its allure drew me to the life of a historian many years ago. Above and beyond the profession, unveiling these wonders has been my greatest pleasure. To that end, today is a momentous day for my career. Until today, my research has been limited to secondary sources. As one might imagine, gaining access to original texts and artifacts can be a challenge. Yet, I have the great fortune of receiving a rare donation concerning my most recent subject of intrigue, courtesy of a generous private collector. Unfortunately, for sake of privacy, he wishes to retain anonymity in all publications. Still, though, I cannot credit him for his contribution. I am most grateful. My current work involves the end of the 18th dynasty family line of Akhenaten and his controversial rejection of his old pantheon. Their reign is generally accepted to have ended with the death of his son Tutankhamun. However, the contents of the boy king's burial chamber would suggest otherwise, namely the two fetuses buried alongside him, each in its own sarcophagus. One died in what appeared to be its 7th month of prenatal development, the other in its 5th. Their identities and the causes of their miscarriage are as yet of unknown. My anonymous benefactor will be supplying me with these very same sarcophagi. Per request, he has sent them to my office at the University of Southampton. Hopefully, their examination will provide me with a valuable lead in answering these questions once and for all. The package will arrive by month's end, and I am eager to begin. June 29th, 1964. Package arrived this morning, though in a rather precarious state, I must say, left unattended at my office door rather than at the security desk as requested. The package itself was less than sturdy, hardly adequate protection for such priceless treasures. I'll be sure to voice my concern to the delivery company in the near future. The artifacts are no worse for wear, however, and they are beautiful indeed. My benefactor kept them pristine, clearly not in a dusty storage facility as I might have imagined. 2 tiny sarcophagi, adorned in gold and black, each containing an even smaller sarcophagi like Russian nesting dolls, and their shriveled remains would be rested therein. I had expected them to be brittle, yet they had weathered the ages with surprising integrity. Unfortunately, the bodies themselves are unavailable to me. They are closely guarded at another facility, granting strictly limited access, and rightly so. Regardless, the coffins alone are a promising starting point in my research. I will begin my work at once. July 10th, 1964. The coffins have been in my possession for over a week now, and they provide more questions than answers. The photographs I had seen before their arrival showed no obvious signs of identity, so I suspected a more careful examination would be necessary. Yet, they've yielded nothing. No names, of course. No epithets, no prayers, no symbols of protection. Not even the smallest indication of ritualistic practice concerning such deaths. That these fetuses were embalmed and entombed in royal fashion, yet put to rest with no marks of distinction, is a confounding enigma. I can only assume that they were Tutankhamun's miscarried children based on how near they were found to his resting place. And even that poorly supported conclusion lends no clue to the circumstances surrounding their deaths. Clearly, these two were of great importance. Their bodies were treated with the same care as any king. Why, then, would they die nameless? Why would it be permitted? This was no folly of incompetence or neglect. No, I can say with confidence that they were deliberately omitted. How very puzzling. July 23rd, 1964. At the height of my frustration, I've made an astonishing discovery. To be honest, I'm surprised that I am the first to notice it, or at least the first to mention it. At the foot of one of the inner sarcophagi, near the edge of the lip beneath the lid, I found a very fine, nearly undetectable slit in the clay. It could easily be mistaken for a stress fracture, and I almost dismissed it as such. However, when I adjusted my desk lamp, that's when I saw it. Something deep in the slit, reflecting the faintest touch of light. After probing with a needle and a pair of tweezers, I was able to extract a small, tightly folded piece of papyrus reed parchment. Of course, it did not age as well as the clay sarcophagus, made thin and weak at its ancient scams. Keeping it intact whilst unfolding was a delicate and trying task, yet mostly successful. The last bit adheres to itself rather strongly, and with evident purpose. The ink is quite faded, but I have been able to discern the following. Let their names die with them, sealed in earth and forgotten. They were called. Doubtless the last bit conceals what would have been their names in life had they survived. Though risky, I might be able to undo the last few folds with the careful application of a razor blade and a non-corrosive solvent, but I must use caution, as this could very well be the key to solving this riddle, thereby documenting a solid conclusion to an important period in Egypt's history. July 24th, 1964. I've been staring at this blank page for a while now, trying to find words to describe what I experienced last night. It sounds ludicrous, no matter how I think to phrase it, so I've been trying to rationalize it. It may be due to lack of sleep, or perhaps mounting frustration, perhaps oncoming sickness and feverish hallucinations. I am uncertain, but I cannot fathom the alternative. Yet, for all my reasoning, I cannot dismiss the chill crawling over my skin. The last of the parchment's folds gave more easily than I expected, requiring very little pressure at all, and they revealed what I now struggle to explain. I understood the characters that I saw. I understood their meanings and uses individually. I understood the sounds they should have made, but together, as I saw them in that state, they evoked no thought, only a dense fog of confusion, and any semblance of meaning dissolved from my mind the moment I looked away. Even as I attempted to copy the characters I saw, to put them to paper, I found that I was unable. I understood the lines that composed them, yet I could not move my hand to recreate them. It is as though these words, these names, refused to be repeated. When I unfolded the last bit, I swear that I felt a gust of cold air rush over me. I heard a wordless whisper in my ear, calling me. It is a peculiar feeling, and as I labour to overcome it, I feel something dreadful surrounding these names. Something dark. What in the world have I disturbed? August 12, 1964. I have ceased my study. I would return the artifacts to my benefactor, if they did not frighten me so. To be in the same room, to see them sitting atop my desk, as I stand at a distance, is unbearable. The parchment is nowhere to be found, and for that I am grateful. I dare not set eyes upon those characters again, but just one glance will certainly haunt me for life as it is. I have had horrible, relentless visions since the night I unveiled them, visions of suffering and regret. I will not set foot in that office again, not while those terrible things remain. I will be leaving the city tonight. I do not know where I will go, but I am compelled to flee. I cannot abide this place. It's been tainted. I saw the jackal last night. He spoke of false gods. October 18th, 1964. I'm running now. Not home or anywhere specific, just away. I have to keep moving or they'll find me again. Two little girls with silver crowns, watching from the darkness. Wherever I go, they find me, and the shadows rattle like scarabs beneath their feet. Always the smell of sand in the wind, and they appear before me. They tell me they bring the wrath of the lion, the justice of Sekhmet. They tell me their names, the sound my mind cannot understand or tolerate, a sound not for the living. I must run. The names torment me. No gods before Ra, as are his faithful, so is the fate of Aten. December 6, 1964. I returned to the university today, perhaps in the hopes I may appease the dead, that I may somehow give their names back to the void, and the unborn daughters might leave me in peace. I returned as a stranger. Colleagues had forgotten my name, old friends had forgotten my face, and my office, where my curse began, had never existed. In its place, I found nothing more than the wall connecting the rooms that once sat to its left and right, a wall yellowed by the same age as the building itself. I'll find no asylum here. I will move on, but I grow weary, and the Lion Woman awaits my resignation. May 30th, 1965. The months have crawled by, stripping away my former life little by little. I am without a home. I live in my car, and I steal to survive. Nobody seems to notice me anymore. They forget me as quickly as they see me. Nobody listens to my cries for help, and I sometimes believe they may not even hear my voice. I press on through the streets as a broken man, trudging more than walking, and they move past me without a second glance. My parents no longer know me. They never had a son. I have become a ghost, a lost cause with nowhere left to turn. My car broke down 2 days ago. No time to find another. No time to stop. I flee on foot. I sleep only where I lose consciousness. I pray they don't take me in my sleep, and I count my blessings when I wake where I collapsed. But I always see them waiting for me in the last moments of dusk before sunrise. I've taken shelter in a sewage tunnel for the night, but this is where I will likely find my final rest. I've grown too tired to stand. I cannot go on. I await my judgment. When the sun last set, Aiton's gaze turned from me as it did from them. The boy king came to me, adorned in his burial garb, and he spoke with the hiss of the cobra. He gave me the names of his daughters, and with them an understanding. To know faith in Aten is to know the anger of Ra. To know Aten's faithful is to know the wrath of Sekhmet. To remember the banished ones is to face the void, and so, in exchange for their names, he took my own. This will be my last entry here, on this page. I leave my last words to the world, though they may never be known. Each letter's ink lifts from the page like ash on the breeze, and as I lay here dying, slowly collapsing to dust, without the essence of a self, I cannot help but reach out to another in vain. I cannot help but try to leave a memory. Please remember me. My name is. I really hope you liked that one. That one was a very interesting one. if you would like, I will be doing some more of these tomorrow. Because it's spooky season. Ooh, excuse me. That one's an interesting one because people are still trying so hard to learn more about the ancient Egyptians, you know? And dig up the past. Sometimes I think we should just leave them be, honestly. Let them rest. Now, we are going to be raiding one of my lovely friends, my moderator, Scorpy. Make sure that's all sorted. There we go. I want to thank you all for coming today. This means so much to me. Let me see if I've got the name. There we go. Underscore. And there we go. I will be seeing you all tomorrow. I thank you for joining me. Take care, my lovelies. I'll see you again.